Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. Today we're covering Halle Berry's Catwoman, widescreen edition. Uh, Whenever possible, even when I go to thrift stores to pick up physical media, excuse me. Oh man, I always am on the lookout for. Excuse me. I'm always on the lookout for widescreen, special editions. I mean, the standard theatrical trailer version is fine, but I like the extras, the added oomph. But particularly with widescreen, you get the full image as intended by the director. For those of you who may not know, the difference between widescreen and standard definition or theatrical version is standard is like a 4:3 ratio, so it's like a boxy rectangle. But then widescreen stretches the length out more. So if you got like sweeping landscapes, tons of stuff going on screen at once, then the left and right edges are cut off when they make the standard format version. Excuse me. So you're not seeing the big picture, if you will. So this is Halle Berry's attempt at Catwoman. My favorite Catwoman will probably be Michelle Pfeiffer. If you just focus on the movie versions of Catwoman, uh, and followed by what's her name? The one from is it Dark Knight Rises? The brunette, the slim brunette, and in the movies, oh, who was the gal who played the Catwoman from the other movie? Well, I guess the one from the Batman with Robert Pattinson was decent. Um, I don't know if I would put Halle Berry at the same third place running tied with the gal from the Batman or not. I don't know, but I guess I would put him third place. I think there's only been 4 total Catwomen in the movies, live action. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Um, I don't know if it was true to source material. I read some Batman, but not a whole lot. When I got into comics, I I started like mid '80s or so, maybe late '80s, and by then a lot of the major titles were already in issue 100 to 200, and I always had this feeling that how am I going to catch up and be able to handle this and be able to enjoy these stories if I don't know all the backstory. And I didn't conceive of the idea of, starting from where I left off and then buying back issues until I collected the rest of the series. Um, so I try to stick more with titles that were just coming out that were in their early double digits part of their run. Uh, what I like and maybe even respect about Halle Berry's Catwoman is that she seemed to really put herself into the role. I don't know if you call it method acting, but there were scenes where she was she was acting very cat-like, uh, very slender. She would eat out of tuna cans. Um, she would drink milk. Um, they really went heavy into the cat's behavior, the uh, always landing on their feet. Um, um, and it it actually is enjoyable in that regard. I mean, I don't need to have full cat-like action. That sounds weird. All right. It it didn't have to go super heavy into that, but I did like that they did some of that, and they also spend no time delving into like the history of cats and other, what do you call them, dynasties? Well, like back in ancient Egypt and stuff. Um, the, the reverence for cats. This reads: Patience Phillips is dead and more alive than ever. Murdered after she learns the secret behind the cosmetics firm's anti-aging cream, she's revived and empowered by mystical felines. Now she's on the slinky prowl for adventure and revenge. She's Catwoman. Academy Award winner Halle Berry plays a sleek, whip-cracking feline fatale. Benjamin Bratt is a cop torn between romance and duty, and Sharon Stone is an ice-blooded supermodel with something to hide in a kicky and stylish Catwoman. With cat-like grace, a knack for landing on her feet, a passion for sushi, and a loathing for dogs, Berry is a perfect force to reckon with. She's action with attitude. All right, so yeah, Benjamin Bratt's the lead. He was in a lot of movies in the uh, 80s, and well, actually, this came out in what, 2002, 2004. You see him in a lot of movies on and off. Um, as I was watching him, I kept thinking he was what is it, Mark Dacascos, martial artist, but no, this is Benjamin Bratt. He's like a police officer investigating the Catwoman phenomenon, uh, trying to figure out if she's friend or foe. Sharon Stone uh, does a pretty good job. Like it says, ice-blooded supermodel with something to hide, and they did a pretty good job. I like the detail on the claws, how the very tips are, I guess they're made of diamond, so it cuts glass. Uh, the costume overall is rather ugly. I didn't like the fact that she was basically wearing like leather stretchy pants with boots, short boots, I think, and this bra with a bunch of straps. across the front. I didn't like the costume at all. I guess the only part I kind of liked were the very fingertips of the claws for their practicality. Let's see here. I'm not sure. I don't think I actually saw these, but the special features include exciting alternate ending and additional scenes. And then there's 2 documentaries, which I'll probably have to go back and look at. The Many Faces of Catwoman profiles the evolution of this legendary character. Then go on the prowl as cast and creators lure you behind the scenes. There's a DVD-ROM web link to Catwoman's lair. I have not checked that out. Other than that, it was. I know it caught a lot of flack. A lot of people hated it. It's another one of those that I view in the guilty pleasure realm. I might watch it every now and again just to see Halle Berry. And the fight scene between her and, spoilers. The fight scene between Halle Berry and Sharon Stone was pretty cool. There was I guess the main thing I didn't like, well, besides the costume, was that the camera work was all over the place. Sometimes it made sense because you were trying to accentuate the slinkiness of Catwoman and how agile and flexible she is, and to make the landing on the feet more believable. But then you will sometimes have this jagging in and out of the camera, and it does the weirdest camera shots, and it's like spastic at times, almost to where there were some moments where it felt like I was developing a headache because the camera work was all over the place. But if you're like a completionist and you're into superhero movies or supervillain movies, and want something that's more silly, goofy fun, and not so much serious, serious super cinema, then you might want to check this out. Again, I know a lot of people did not like this, but if you want something to check out, I'd give it a barely recommend, or a mild recommend. See what you think. It was kind of bad, but it's kind of good. Man, I hated that costume. But Halle Berry did a good job with the whips, using the whip and everything. So that was cool. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Movie Nuggets, where you get a snack of a movie and hear my input on it or feedback after watching it. See you in the next Movie Nuggets. Bye.